with the mission to keep as many men on as many guns for as long as possible. We call him Doc. Welcome to Combat Vet Vision. And now your host, Aaron Chief Siebel.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to Combat Vet Vision. Hey, this is where I give my opinion, my story, a lot of things that go on here. Our sponsors, supporters, volunteers, people that want to get on here and talk about their story, talk about their situation, whatever that might be. Gives a chance, a platform, an area for combat vets to kind of get a, maybe they're going to get something out of it. Maybe they're going to get that piece of puzzle that they might need to help them articulate some of the thought process they're going through or different things of that nature. And it's there to educate the public so that you can see kind of what kind of thought processes go on. But this show's on Comm check over, and I use that from time to time. If I'm reaching out to somebody and I don't hear from them, I'll even post that up. I'll say Comm check over, or I'll just say Comm check. And the story goes, Comm's a super important thing, and part of being an FMF Corpsman or any warfare device holder, you got to go through certain phases of instruction on certain things, and one of them is comm, communication, whether it's a radio, whatever that might be, or telephones, whatever it is. You have to kind of learn some really awesome communication stuff and crypto and different things and how the basics of it work. Not to mention everything else that's part of that. And so when you talk about the FMF warfare devices, everything that the Marine Corps does, whether it's a division, group, or uh, whatever, you have to know the subject matter of that area that you're in. And so it's learning all the different things that Marines learn, tactics, all the different things, to include comm. And comm was really important to me because I realized that we have to call 9 lines out. We have to understand how to send somebody back if they get injured, and give some important information to somebody else that's on the other end of that message, to hopefully be able to receive a casualty or something of that nature. Not to mention, you don't want to really go into combat without comm. And I used to make a simple joke to my Marine buddies. I'd say, "Hey man, what do you want to go without if you had a choice? Would you rather go without comm or without a corpsman? Both start with a C, but isn't it good to be able to go with a corpsman that knows comm?" So it was just one of those things. It was just kind of a running joke from time to time that I would kind of say just to be kind of silly, but it was part of the camaraderie building thing. Just it builds that. And my jokes weren't always the best. They were always good for me, but not always good for somebody else. But communication is super awesome, super important. And now it seems like every message that's sent through communication of the world has to be interpreted, meaning it doesn't always mean exactly what you think it does. And it also comes with probably some other intended purposes outside of, direct military involvement. But all the communication that you see on the news, on the whatever you're watching, YouTube to all these different things, can be misguiding, misleading. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying that a lot of times now it requires a lot more interpretation, a lot more scrutiny, a lot more thought process, a lot more. What is this really about? What's the agenda? What's the thing? And I'm even getting kind of tarnished by it, or jaded with it. I think some people reach out to me from time to time, but I get some messages from time to time on social media that that kind of just grind at my PTSD a little bit, and I have to, and I almost snap back, but then I have to be, I have to take it easy and kind of readjust my mindset, because here I am. I'm a guy that's just been in combat. I've been injured in combat, been blown up, took over 100 pieces of shrapnel, had my last rites read to me, 3 times to Iraq, all combat. And I came back and I'm dealing with all the injuries from that. Every step I take is painful. There's like these little things that I don't bring up all the time, and I don't want people to always know. I'm trying to stay off the cane for as long as I can. I have to modify my workouts. There's a lot of different things that I have to be careful of, that I can't do everything that I used to be able to do, but I will try to do it to the best of my abilities, and I will make it through that door, and I will live my life hopefully the best that I can. And as I deal with these things, I love to go to warrior groups and kind of rehash through through my mind, so I can adjust it so that I can understand what the message is, what the communication is supposed to be, how that's supposed to be interpreted, and where does it fit in my puzzle, because I believe that each one of us sees things slightly different than the other, and we don't always see eye to eye, and you hear that all the time, but we can relate. We can relate. And so my agenda is to relate. My agenda is not to necessarily help you, because nobody really wants help, but they want to help others. They want to give something back. They want to be involved in their life the way they see it, the way they want it, the way that they want to run down the trail and make it happen. And I think this works really good for the most part. And especially us who've served in combat, and we've gone and we've seen and we've done the most incredible thing that we're going to do in our lives, possibly. And we come back and we have to adjust into society in a different way. We're no longer that superhero. We're no longer putting the uniform on. We're no longer doing this thing, but we still need to be, we still need to have a mission. We still need to have maybe a purpose and a direction to go. And so in doing that, sometimes you get caught up in these weird communication moments where things don't make sense. It doesn't make sense for, we fought for all this cool freedom, but people are just like wasting it on what? Not using their turn signals. They're free to not use it, even though it's there. It's required. It's a required piece of gear. Everyone's paying for it. If not, don't get a car with it on. See how that works out for you. It just doesn't come that way. Uh, but you get these pet peeves. You're like, hey, I fought for the freedom so that I could understand. You need to message me, send me a message that you're going to turn in the zone, so I'm not stuck, caught up behind all this traffic that's right behind you, because I didn't know you weren't going to turn, and now you're just turning. You could have told me that, and I would have pulled out in traffic. So there's a lot of misguided information. So you're just like, hey, you just wasted another 5 minutes of my life behind this other piece of traffic. Um, I get caught up in it. I get caught up in the message, or the message that's not sent, or the misinterpretation. And I have to think to myself, the benefit of the doubt. Maybe that guy doesn't have the arm to reach out and hit the turn signal, or he's doing something else and can't do it, or it's broken. Maybe it's broken. I now understand, because when my turn signal was broke, and I tried to use it and it obviously didn't work, I'm like, damn, I'm that guy. I'm that guy. So I also have to be a little bit more um, understanding, and getting back to the agenda piece of things. Like, I'm just that guy that wants to reach out and have that camaraderie. I want to have a genuine conversation with somebody. I want to maybe be able to make a difference in not only my life but theirs. But as I'm having this genuine conversation, I usually pick up on some really cool things about myself. I get to learn something else about me. I get to learn a lot about them. And it's hard to always keep it in your mind, because there's so many guys that I talk to, so many things that I talk to, so many times that I touch someone's life every day or every other day, whatever it might be. But I talk to vets all the time, and this is my life. This is what I do, and I really enjoy it. But the messages can always be um, misunderstood, misguided. Um, even me, as I received a message, do a I just want to put a memory out there to Maestro, good buddy of mine, Larry Myra, um, Vietnam veteran. Lost his life some time ago, and they just had his celebration of life yesterday, and I wasn't there for it, but it's just Iron Horse Marine guy, like myself, a real true American guy that just helped people out left and right. Electrician, amazing guy. Um, but I get the message that he's having a service, and I don't do well with it. I don't do well with these messages that we've lost some guys, and maybe I should have reached out and said something to my friends, to those. I shared his stuff on social media, different things, but maybe I didn't reach out enough to the family and friends that were associated with him, and I just get locked down a little bit with everything in my mind about it. Um, the loss of life, loss of a buddy, and we start to feel bad about it, and we maybe aren't good with ourselves and good with our other people as well, and maybe we just don't treat each other the right way. Uh, you know, I want to believe that I'm concerned, that I care um, about a lot of things, about too many things probably, but it to the point where it frustrates. It really tears me apart to see things happen that aren't so good in life. But but we need to communicate about it. We need to open up about it. We need to talk about it. And it's not necessarily to justify our actions, but it's to get that mind piece so that it's in line with a positive movement in the right direction, so that you don't do something bad to yourself or others. And sometimes we as veterans, we as combat veterans, a lot of us are not so good to ourselves. We want to be good for so many different directions, so many good things in our minds about how we want to help other people, but we're not very good about helping ourselves sometimes. And I believe we all need to take a step back when that happens and just kind of grab a hold of ourselves and say, hey, I need to take myself to um, this organization, the PTSD Foundation of America or Warrior Build or whatever organization it is that really kind of has some enlightenment for you, and participate in it. Not necessarily get help, but participate. You could call it help. It is help, but it doesn't work out well if sometimes you call it help, because I'm not really needing help. But there's a lot of guys that are in that position now. A lot of guys are moving forward in some really good directions. They got their lives together with a lot of different things. But sometimes at the end of the day, you might have lost somebody in your life recently. And I've talked to a couple vets that have, and that was their staple. That was their thing that was really keeping them grounded, and they have the potential to fall apart because it's not there anymore. And so it's important to grab a hold of a couple more battle buddies per se and communicate. Open up that communication. And if somebody falls off that communication wheel, sometimes it's good to write to send a message out there that says com check over. Uh, Even if you're trying to talk to them all day, sometimes I'll send messages and messages, and I don't hear back from them. The next message I send is com check. And that's because I really want to hear from you. And it means like, hey, I'm worried about you. I want you to respond back, say something. And some of my friends have been out there. They've actually seen this happen, so they've gotten this message. But I just wanted to tell that story a little bit. Just what Comm meant to me. And how important it is on the battlefield to have Comm. If you need to call in a 9 line, if you need to call in air support, if you need to call in air support on a target, um, and you want danger close is right there and all this other stuff. You just really need to stay on task with your communication. Otherwise, you can end up a casualty to your own buddies, and that causes too many problems. So again, communication is such a crazy cool thing, but it is left up for interpretation. And a lot of times you want that clear message to come through. I don't want to grab you by your ears and say, read my lips. I said this. And that goes along with a joke that I can't tell in here, but sometime later, maybe. Ask me about it. It's a great story. But hey, I just want to say thanks a lot. Hey, this is Combat Vet Vision. Please check out the show notes. Thank you from sitchradio.com, who sponsors, supports, and runs my show. Thanks to all the nonprofit organizations that have helped me out in the past, helped me out in the future, and that still continue to help me out. Thanks for Warrior Built Foundation, PTSD Foundation of America. And if you need some help and support, if you don't, comm check. Over. Out.